This video is not clickbait. Somebody really did crash into me and then drive off. Before we get into things, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys could give this video a like, for no other reason than to hopefully try and get this video out to as many people as possible, and yeah, try and spread the message and hopefully try and give a few teaching points so that something like this doesn't happen to any of you guys. I think before we get into the details surrounding exactly what happened, I think I should take you out to the car and kind of show you the aftermath, show you the damage, and then I think we'll come back inside and, like I said, we'll go through the details. So yeah, let's head out to the car now. Now then, for any of you who were wondering which car was involved in the hit and run, it was the BMW E60 5 Series. Now, is the damage bad? I mean, can you even see it from here? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Is it bad? I mean, I'll kind of let you be the judge. The damage is on pretty much on the rear quarter of the car here. So you'll see pretty nasty gash, a small dent here, a crease. I think there's a small dent here, a crease, and then the scrape pretty much continues on the rear bumper and kind of goes, well, yeah, it goes all the way back. There is also a mark here. I think this was, I'm guessing, from the wing mirror of the car that hit me. But yeah, pretty much the majority of the damage is limited to this rear quarter here. Oh, the wheel is slightly damaged as well. I don't know if our wheels made contact, but yeah, that's definitely worse than it was before. But apart from all this, I can't really see anything else damaged, so I don't think it is too bad. I think the majority of this should clean up. I think the majority of this, I mean, you can see it's sort of wiping off already. I think the majority of these marks are actually the paint from the other car. So I'm fairly confident that with a bit of T-cut and a good polish, this, or hopefully the majority of this, should come out. I mean, this car definitely was not perfect anyway. I mean, it is, what, 16 years old now, so you know, it never was perfect to begin with. It did have a few scuffs and scrapes all round, so I'm kind of glad that it happened to this car, because yeah, it was a cheap car to buy anyway. I'm going to be selling this car soon. I'm going to be selling it for a cheap price, so yeah, it's not as if the car was a complete minter to begin with. I mean, if it was to happen to, say, my Mini Cooper S or the BMW 7 Series, then I definitely would have been a lot more upset. But yeah, I guess we're trying to make best of a bad situation. And yeah, I think I will, like I said, have a good try at getting this back to as good condition as possible. But if I had to guess, I would have to say the other car, the car that crashed into me, is probably in a bit worse condition, especially as you can see his paintwork on my car. But now let's head back inside and let me explain exactly what happened. Okay then, so let me try and explain exactly what happened. So where this took place, it was in a pretty typical residential street. So you had terrace houses on either side, you also had parked cars on either side, and you know, if you are driving down this street, you would never be going fast down here. Maximum speed you're really going to be going down here is about 20 miles per hour. I know the speed limit's of course 30, but you don't really want to be going any faster than about 20 miles per hour. I had actually just pulled away from the roadside. I'd actually just visited someone. This accident happened probably 5 seconds after pulling away. So I just came away, just pulled away from the curb, and then I was heading down the road. Now there's a corner, and it's a very sharp corner. It's basically a blind bend. You can't see around it, and it's pretty typical for cars to actually not only just take the corner way too fast, but it's pretty typical for cars to actually take the corner on the wrong side of the road. And I think kind of a combination of those two actually occurred. So I guess as I was coming down to the bend, of course I slowed down. I kind of expected a car to be coming the other way. A car did come round the bend. It was coming like very fast. I stopped, and at which time I thought the other car had stopped. He looked like he was going to stop, but then he sort of tried to maneuver around me, and bear in mind this is happening in a split second. Obviously I was stopped way before he even got to us. I was kind of thinking, I hope he doesn't try and squeeze by there, because I had nowhere to go, and he was, you know, like I said, they've got cars parked on both sides. He was never ever going to squeeze through there. And as he kind of got side by side with me, you know, so he hadn't fully got through the gap yet, I guess. As he kind of got side by side with me, he started to shout something. No idea what he was saying, no idea what he was trying to insinuate. This guy was, you know, going way too fast on the wrong side of the road, round a bend. I don't know if he was trying to say it was my fault or what. But anyway, he continued going, and then he literally scraped the rear quarter of my car, I'm guessing with his front wing. That's the only thing I can think of, unless it was with his rear quarter, I don't know. And then the car kind of shook, and I was just like, what the hell, what's this guy doing? I was like, why did he try and squeeze through that gap for? And so yeah, I was obviously a little bit shook up. He then went past us. I then kind of froze, and, you know, was waiting in the mirror for him to maybe get out, stop, and, you know, exchange details, as, you know, you'd expect things to happen. He then went up to the top of the road. I then asked my fiance to step out the car, you know, take a photo of the reg, just in case this guy does try to, you know, do a runner basically. And as she got out the car, the guy literally just sped off. So unfortunately we didn't get the reg. With that being said, anyway, I mean, even if we was to go down the insurance route, I think at best, you know, it's going to be my word against his, because unfortunately, and this is a massive error on my part, I don't have a dash cam in this car. I have it in my other car, the BMW 130i, but I don't have one yet in this BMW E60. So yeah, there's no cameras around as well, no residential cameras or anything. So I think it would have been very hard to prove that he was at fault, even though of course we know he was. I mean, the fact that he drove off anyway, that pretty much, you know, proves that he was at fault, because why else would you just drive off? I mean, there's a few other factors that could, you know, have came into play as well. He could have been on his phone, which I think was a big possibility, because yeah, it didn't really look like he reacted quick enough. Like I said, I stopped as soon as I seen the car, whereas he sort of, you know, just tried to swerve and then squeeze through a tiny gap. So yeah, his reactions are very slow. So if he was on, you know, if he was drinking, if he was on drugs, if he, you know, wasn't even insured to have the car, I have no idea. But yeah, it's just a pretty crappy situation, I guess you could say. And yeah, now I guess I've got to try and clean up the damage and go from there. But yeah, I think, like I said, unless I could prove 100% that he was at fault, like I had, you know, a dash cam or whatever, I think it would have been too difficult to try and prove through the insurance. Obviously, I'm not going to claim on my own insurance because I'll just lose my no claims and the excess and whatever else. It's really just not worth it. So yeah, I'm just going to have to live with it, I guess. But yeah, the point that I'm trying to get across in this video for any of you watching now, and it's very, very important, pay close attention. Have a dash cam in your car, especially if it's a car that you really do care about. You know, if it's your pride and joy, make sure you have a dash cam, because, you know, I've been kind of preaching it for a long time now. I mean, I haven't really been in, you know, too many accidents recently, but I've been preaching it for a long time that, you know, a lot of people try and do hit and runs, and look what's happened. You know, it's happened to me. So yeah, the proof really is in the pudding. Get yourself a dash cam. I mean, I've got a couple of videos that I've you know, where I've reviewed a dash cam, showed you how to set it up and all the rest of it. So yeah, just if you take one thing away from this, get yourself a dash cam, get yourself protected, because, you know, people just don't care. You know, other road users, they just don't care about your car at the end of the day. They will just do whatever they can to get out of paying, get out of, you know, admitting liability. And yeah, ultimately you have to try and deal with a mess that somebody else may have caused. But yeah, pretty crappy situation. I'm not going to make this any longer than it needs to be. I've explained exactly what's happened. Hopefully you all can learn something from it. I want to thank you all for watching anyway. Please give this video a like, as I mentioned. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you have not already done so. And I will see you all in the next one.